The Mercedes-Benz E-Class, the quintessential premium executive sedan, a symbol of success, a symbol that you've made it in life. This one here is the W213 facelifted version that recently launched. The model that I have with me here is the E200. However, I feel that this entry-level E-Class is in a bit of a weird position because it's a little bit a neither here nor there situation. Should you top up 50 grand more for the E300 to get the full luxury premium experience, or to save 30 grand for the smaller yet more powerful, better spec C300? Let's find out.
You can have this feeling anytime you choose.
Hello everybody, this is Adrian for WapCar.my and I'm all about the details. Traditionally, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class model, their facelifted range usually gets a much more extensive rework compared to the C as well as S-Class models. That's because the E-Class, their model life cycle is in a little bit of a overlap with the new generation S and C class. So for example, this 213 model here, you can't tell that it's a facelift. It looks like a completely new car, a new generation car. That's because they've taken elements from the next generation W223 S class as well as W206 C class design elements to be incorporated into this E class. For example, you can tell the new front grille, the bumper design, as well as the new headlamps. But the biggest change are over at the rear, the completely new tail lamps to give the E-Class a much sleeker design. Now the E200 gets the Avantgarde styling, so it has a much more mellowed down exterior look, quote-unquote more luxury compared to the AMG line, which has a much sportier appeal. So for me personally, I much prefer the AMG line exterior pack because the front here, I feel that it looks a little bit too bland for an E-Class. I know that the E-Class has usually been a much more sedated car, but this one is just overly bland for me, and the chrome down here is not doing it for me. And the E200 gets the standard LED high performance headlamps, which aren't as swanky and fancy as the multi-beam in the E300. Over to the side, you get 18-inch alloys, pretty much standard stuff. Least favorite, you spend over 300 grand and there's no powered tailgate. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a disappointment. Come, let's check out the interior. Stepping inside to the E-Class facelift in this E200, I have to be very honest with you guys. The only new thing that I see in here is this steering wheel. The rest of the cabin feels lock, stock, barrel taken from the pre-facelift. But that's not a bad thing, mind you, because the E-Class, this generation of E-Class has always been a very high-tech, very spacious kind of feel in here. You give you a very pleasant cabin ambience. For example, the two massive widescreen cockpit screens, you get 12.3-inch screens on the center multimedia as well as the driver. It's very crisp, it's very vibrant, you have plenty of functionalities to play with, no complaints. You also have 64 color ambient lighting. That is my favorite part of any Mercedes. And on the center tunnel here, you get your open wood paw trim, very nice center touchpad, as well as plenty of storage spaces. Here you can have all your keys and whatnot. Over here, center armrest, massive for your wallet. And on the side door bins, you can fit a massive large size water bottle. Now back to this steering wheel. I feel that this E200 steering wheel is a little bit of a backward step compared to the pre-facelift, because the let me draw you one example. The center here, the way where you control the up, down, left, right, the navigating the screens, the button has been moved from the center in the pre-facelift to up. It's slightly positioned upwards, and this makes, while you're on the move, the ergonomics to use it is not very natural. You have to stretch your thumb a little bit. I don't know, I feel that it's not something that you have to be bothered with in an E-Class. I much prefer the E300's AMG style steering wheel. That feels a lot more special, better feel to it, and yeah, actually it's just only special. In the E300 compared to the E200, I feel that E300 gives you a much more pleasant cabin ambience because you have your Burmester Hi-Fi. In this E200, you get a black plastic cover. I think that this is very unsightly. It doesn't fit or gel with the cabin. You also get a panoramic sunroof in the E300 and some other bits and bobs. This compared to the C300, some might ask whether, feels that the C300 is more special because you have better features. But I feel that in the E-Class, it's still an E-Class. You get a much more wider cabin feel. You feel much more spacious in here, and the rear legroom passengers will be much more comfortable in the interior of an E-Class compared to a C-Class. If you're shopping for an E-Class, chances are you already have your mind set on getting one. All you need is that final push to put your signature on that dotted line, and I'm here to give you that final push. Now, the driving dynamics of the E-Class facelift has been extensively revised compared to the pre-facelift. It's now a whole lot more composed. If I were to use an analogy, it would be the pre-facelift felt a little bit like a land boat, but this one feels like a land yacht. Smooth, calm, composed. Steering feel. Now, I know a lot of you guys will disagree with me, but the steering feel on this E-Class facelift is sharper than the G30 520i. Yes, you heard me right, it's sharper than a 5 Series. What it means that the front end is very reactive and it just responds to your inputs immediately. It's a very weird sensation because the entire chassis of the E-Class is still comfort oriented, so the front end is very responsive, but the rear is just a little bit like, oh, okay, I'm turning left, oh, you're turning right. But the G30 5 Series still has a much better body control overall. But because of this stiffer setup, something's gotta give. And it's not comfort nor ride quality, no. It's pliancy. What I mean by that is when you're cruising on the highway, the undulations just gets transmitted into the cabin. You just feel every crease of the road. As you can see right now, I'm just cruising and the ride is just a little bit too busy for my liking, especially in an E-Class. The Lexus ES does highway cruising a lot better. That is just pure dead silence, calm, and just dead on straight. But this E-Class, yeah, I am a little bit disappointed. The E300 with the AMG Line Sport suspension, that has a much better, calmer ride characteristics compared to the E200. Now, in terms of performance, the E200 is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, pushing out 197 horsepower and 320 Nm of torque, driving the rear wheels via a 9-speed automatic transmission. And even though it's the entry level, you still get lots of power. Pulling up to highway speeds immediately, you will have no problems overtaking. Even though it's the least powerful E-Class, you would still think that it's good enough for everyday use. My only qualm with this powertrain is the 9-speed transmission. Yes, I understand it's for fuel efficiency, it's for refinement, but wow, it is slow to respond. When you floor the throttle, kick down takes a second or two, like you seen earlier, a second or two, and I don't know, it's just a little bit too much of hunting the gears. There's 9 ratios. For it to find the correct ratio, it has to downshift 2 to 3 times just to wake the engine up. So it really is a little bit of a letdown. So in conclusion, if you're eyeing a C300 as well as an E200, I would say go for the E200 immediately because it offers a much more luxurious experience. You get a much more premium feel to it. Compared to the C300, it's much more sportier, yes. Better features, yes. More powerful engine, yes. However, it doesn't have the elegance of the E-Class. The E200 offers that. But if you ask me between the E200 and E300, which one should you pick? My recommendation would be the E300 because you just get all the suite of bells and whistles. Not to say that the E200 is not good, I just feel that since you're already spending so much money on a car, might as well go for the full experience, which is the E300 AMG line. So let me know in the comment section below, what is your take on this E200? As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. Luxury experience, definitely the E-Class is a... That bug was on my face. You just feel so much more serene, blowing down the... Say if you need and want a